Jennifer's dog kept on biting and barking towards her dress. It became so bad that it even revealed what was under her dress, but that wasn't something everyone would have expected. Every attendee of the wedding was shocked when they found out what Jennifer had been hiding under her wedding dress. It shocked her husband Mark even so much that he was about to cancel the wedding. Her mother-in-law even called the police. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. He loved this girl so much that he did not want to let her go so quickly, but this was unforgivable. Their relationship had been through so much. Right from the beginning, there were struggles in their relationship. Jennifer first met Mark when he and a couple of friends went to hang out at an old warehouse where a lot of young people were squatting. This was a local spot that often had parties going under the police's radar and was thus very popular in the small town. By that point, Jennifer herself had been living at the warehouse for only a couple of weeks. When Mark and his friend, along with some other people, arrived, she was very quiet at first and didn't look for contact. She sat alone outside of the building most of the time that night. The other squatters that had lived in the warehouse much longer told Mark and his friends that this had been the case ever since he got there. They weren't a fan of her antisocial behavior, but weren't going to send a 16-year-old away who had no place else to go. The more time Mark was spending at the warehouse, and the later it got that night, the more interested he got in Jennifer. Mark decided to take Jennifer apart and away from the group to see if he would become more talkative when he was one-on-one. The warehouse was pretty big, so they had a lot of space to just wander around and talk, and Mark wasn't disappointed by making this move. When it was just the two of them, Jennifer quickly dropped his shy demeanor, and he actually seemed to be really interested in Mark. They had a good and long conversation, all while Jennifer didn't reveal much about himself, but she did give Mark a little bit of information. Apparently, Jennifer relocated to this town from somewhere across the county and had no intention of ever going back, but she didn't want to say why this was or where he came from exactly. At that time, Mark didn't ask more questions about it, but maybe he should have. When Mark got home, he could not stop thinking about Jennifer. She didn't leave his mind for days on end and wanted to see her again as soon as possible. They started to meet up often and quickly fell in love, but it would prove to be far from a perfect relationship. The couple were slowly building up their lives together over the next couple of years. There were still some things that were starting to bug Mark. By the time he and Jennifer had been together for years, but she was still very secretive about his past, and it was starting to worry Mark more and more. What could she be hiding from him? Or what was so difficult for her to talk about? Mark had asked her to tell him more on multiple occasions, but was always met by the same kind of reluctant responses. Jennifer claims that he doesn't have a family anymore, and that it hurts too much to talk about everything. She just wants to forget about it all. But Mark was not having any of it, and after a few years, he knew the ultimate plan to get to know more about Jennifer's past and her situation. There was only a big if to his plan, and that was in the hands of Jennifer herself. He asked to marry her. He obviously loved her, but he wanted to get to know more about her. With this marriage, he could get to know about her past by inviting friends or family. She had to invite them. This could be a lovely day for her to finally see them again. But that didn't turn out as Mark would have hoped. After Jennifer said yes, she told Mark that she wanted to invite the people that Mark wanted to invite, and no others. Her family wasn't important to her. This seemed so strange to Mark. Mark decided to accept the situation, knowing that he would not know her past. What did it matter anyway? He loved her for who she was now, not what happened in her past. Next to that, they were making big steps together. They both got better jobs. Jennifer even had to travel a lot now. At first, this seemed fine to Mark, but after a few months, she was away a lot of the time. Mark felt that some things didn't exactly add up. Jennifer was working more and more away from home. This seemed odd to Mark. At first, she was away once every few months, but later it was almost every week. Mark started to be suspicious. What if there was someone else? Mark was constantly thinking whether he should confront Jennifer with his thoughts or to let it go. But after a second trip in 1 week, he couldn't hold back his doubts anymore. He decided to take matters into his own hands. Although he knew that this wasn't necessarily kind to do, he wanted to look into her computer. Maybe there was something there. At first, he checked her email and found nothing. But after going through her files, he saw a protected map named Secret. Mark knew it for sure. there was something he wasn't supposed to see. He needed a password or a fingerprint from Jennifer. He didn't know the password of the map, so he needed a fingerprint. He already knew how to get one of those. After dinner, he made sure that he got one with some adhesive tape. All he needed to do now was open the map. Although he really wanted to know what Jennifer was up to, it didn't feel right. He still decided to look, but he soon regretted that decision. He instantly saw some dodgy pictures. She was modeling, but how did he not know that? And for what purposes was she modeling? She told Mark that she was a real estate agent, not a model. He confronted Jennifer right after she got home. Mark wanted answers from Jennifer. At first, she dodged every question by saying that he would not understand why she had to be a model. But after a while, she started to explain. The reason shocked Mark. Jennifer explained that she did this for some extra money that they could save for their wedding. Money was tight, and they needed something extra for their wonderful wedding, especially with this day coming closer and closer. They had only a few weeks left. Mark totally understood the situation, but also would have liked that she told him first. Then, he didn't not to be so worried or suspicious. But now, they were totally happy again and looking forward to their special day in a few days. But Mark didn't know what was coming yet. On the day of their wedding, Mark and Jennifer were so excited. They were ready to celebrate the love for each other. But when Jennifer walked to the aisle, there was some consternation from an unexpected guest. The dog of Mark's uncle, Sammy, suddenly ran towards Jennifer. It started to bark really loud. No one knew what was going on and why Sammy showed this kind of behavior. Therefore, they decided to ignore it. But it got worse. Sammy ran towards Jennifer and even bit her dress. Because of the shock, Jennifer fell, and something beneath her dress was revealed. Jennifer was in pain, so she didn't notice it. They had a short break because Jennifer obviously was a little bit in shock. But there was something she didn't know. Her mother-in-law noticed straight away what was under her dress and called the police. Surely this wasn't safe for both Jennifer and her son, which shocked Mark and Jennifer. What the hell was going on? But before they were able to calmly talk to each other, the police arrived. They immediately went to Jennifer, asking her to come with them. Mark didn't understand. Why did his fiancée have to come with the police? What did she do wrong? Meanwhile, Jennifer was also stunned by what was going on. She'd imagined this day totally different. Now she was in a police car in her wedding dress. And for what? She still didn't know. All she knew is that she fell to the ground due to Sammy. When Jennifer arrived at the police station, she went straight into the interrogation room. The police first asked questions about her life with Mark. This seemed like a normal question, but moments later their tone changed. They wanted to know where she was last night. Jennifer was shocked. Why did they want to know that? She was at home with Mark, really excited to get married. But Jennifer wasn't getting any answers from the police. Was she a suspect now? Meanwhile, at the wedding place, Mark was still in shock. Why had Jennifer been taken by the police? He decided to take their wedding car to the police station. He wanted to be with his wife-to-be. But for Mark to get to the police station from the wedding location was a challenge in itself. At first, he did not know which police station she was in. Next to that, it was also rush hour, so he was stuck in traffic. But he wanted to get there as fast as possible. He did not want to leave Jennifer alone. To make sure he was at least at a police station, he asked his uncle to pick him up at a tank station with his motorcycle. Then he could evade the rush hour. Luckily, his uncle was there minutes later. After half an hour, he was finally at the police station, and to his relief, he was at the same police station as Jennifer. But to his surprise, she was in the interrogation room. He saw on the look of Jennifer's face that it wasn't exactly a nice conversation. Jennifer got asked a lot of questions, until they showed them a picture of a person. Jennifer was shocked. She recognized the person right away. The police asked if Jennifer knew this person. Of course she did. It was her brother. Apparently, Jennifer was the last person who saw him a few weeks ago. After that, he was reported missing. But she knew he wasn't missing. She knew where he was. Apparently, her brother was on vacation abroad and therefore couldn't attend the wedding as well. Jennifer had a picture of him under her dress so that he could be present. But her mother-in-law thought she had a picture of a missing person, not knowing who that person was. Jennifer now had to explain this to Mark. Jennifer told Mark that she had one brother that spoke regularly to. That is why she also went so much on business trips. Besides being a model, she could also see her brother. Mark was stunned. He thought that she didn't have any family. After that, he made a bold decision. Mark told Jennifer that he canceled the wedding. He wanted one of Jennifer's loved ones to be present on their special day as well. But first, there was someone who had to make amends for her actions. Mark's mother heard about the story and was so sorry about it. She thought that Jennifer might have been cheating on Mark. But that surely wasn't the case. Now it was time to invite Jennifer's brother Max to the party. But they did that in style. They surprised him on his vacation. For Jennifer, was this a nice rendezvous with her brother? For Mark, it meant closure. After all those years, he finally knew something about Jennifer's family. A month later, they got married anyway, with their brother and the guest who started this, Sammy. Both Jennifer and Mark were thankful for his sharp behavior as it led to eternal happiness.